We're crossing now to Canberra to talk with Jim Wallace about what's happening in the various Australian parliaments. Towards the close of 2008, Jim, the federal government launched a national consultation on a Charter of Rights for Australia. As a Christian, Jim, what do you think of this?
Well, I think it's a shame because clearly we don't need this. Wherever we have had it in the Western world, it's been usurped by people who want to get around the democratic process and get their particular agendas up there. And also we've got to remember that although the intent of these Charters of Rights and Bills of Rights are laudable, that is, they aim to make sure that we represent the voice of those who are underrepresented in society. The reality is that in the case of America, for instance, we had a Bill of Rights there, in the world's greatest democracy, for over 100 years, and yet it didn't help African Americans who had to get their rights through the civil rights process or campaign during the 1960s. So we simply don't need this.
So do you believe that Christians should get involved in the consultation?
Well, I think we must, because Christians stand to lose a lot by it too. You might think about trying to arbitrate between the right of a church to employ the people that it wants to against the rights of an individual not to be discriminated against in employment. You might think about the right of the church to want to protect the right of the life of the unborn and the rights of a child that's defined as the Victorian Charter of Human Rights and the ACT Charter of Human Rights do, only from the point of birth. So there are all sorts of issues in this that we need to fix.
Is this related or not?
I might say this is not unrelated to the freedom of religion review, and I hope all your listeners are making sure that they get their submissions into this. The submissions for that close at the end of January, and it's very important that they put submissions into that because it similarly aims to lead up to the Charter of Human Rights debate and to limit, the ability of churches to enter into the public square with their view, and also to, for instance, go into churches, and influence young people through religious instruction, through the work of chaplains. So all these things are very important. And as far as the consultation process for the Charter of Rights, Bills of Rights go, we expect that the consultation process will go through to May, and people should get their submissions in before that time, and then a paper would come out, we expect, in about July, and then the next phase of this would be happening towards the end of next year.
On another topic, Jim, rallies were held in most states in the weeks leading up to Christmas, protesting against the federal government's plans for internet filtering at service provider level. What do you think of this, Jim?
Well, I suppose the great thing was that these rallies weren't well attended at all, and much less attended than people thought. And that was despite the fact that people were encouraged to get out there and what was just mischievous information, alarmist information, saying that the internet would be slowed down by 87%, as Get Up said. Now that's an absolute nonsense. There have been 2 trials of this, government trials, and these trials have showed a great improvement since the first trial in 2005 to the second trial in 2008. So that we have some products that are actually blocking over 90% of offensive material and yet are only slowing the internet at this stage by less than 3%, even 2%. So clearly as technology improves, this rate of efficiency and blocking and also the lowering of the degradation of the internet will fall dramatically. So we must hold people to this and hold the government to this. It's very, very important.
Thanks very much for your time, Jim, and by the way, best wishes for the new year.
Thanks very much, David, and all the best to you for the new year and again to your listeners.